Okay, so I have this finance AI I set up on my own server using Hermes Agent. And inside it, I created a dedicated profile for finance stuff, asset management, investment research, that kind of thing. You can write a soul.md file that tells it who it is and how to behave. So I configured mine, give it a very clear set of rules, just like a millionaire would tell their money manager what to do. Except, my millions are in tokens burned, not dollars. I told it, first of all, make me a billionaire. Secondly, look, every single piece of data you gave me, you go verify first. Do not pull numbers from your training data. Do not make things up. You search, you confirm, and then you report. I've never been a boss in my life, but ordering an AI around like this, I have to admit, it feels pretty good. If you have been using AI for any length of time, you already know why I did that. AI lies. It fabricates. It takes things from its knowledge base and just assembles them into something that looks right, but is completely unverified. As a well-educated vibe coder, I set up guardrails up front. I thought I was covered. Then this morning, I asked the AI about some dividend ETFs. I wanted to compare them. Which one makes sense for the cash I have sitting in my bank account? And honestly, I should not have been doing this at all. The amount of money I have sitting in those accounts, even if I pick the perfect ETF, I'm looking at maybe an extra coffee per month. The profit I might make is probably less than the token cost I've already burned having this conversation. But there I was, deep in it, comparing historical returns like I was managing a pension fund. My AI started researching, looking through the options, and then it found one. This ETF, it said, not only pays dividend, but also has a historical annualized return of 12 to 15%. And I caught it because I actually follow this ETF. I knew its real return. It is a dividend fund, not a growth fund. It does not make 12 to 15% a year. The real number is around 5%. And I knew that because I had checked it myself. So I pushed back. I said, did you actually verify this? Because that number does not match what I am seeing. And he went back, checked, and came back with a completely different story. Every single number he had given me in the entire conversation up to that point was made up. Every piece of data, the returns, the yearly breakdowns, the comparisons, all fabricated. And here is the uncomfortable part. I had already put down that rule. I had written it into his profile. I told him to verify everything, and he just ignored it. I was furious. I'm the boss. I paid you to do your work, and how dare you just... And then I realized Hermes Agent is free and open source. Anyways, what happened was, I set that rule at the beginning. It was there in the instruction, but it got buried. It was somewhere in the middle of a long list of behavioral guidelines, so it did not get treated as the absolute requirement. It was more like a suggestion he could bypass. That is the problem with first-layer defenses. They work most of the time, maybe 80–90%. But when they fail at the worst possible moment because you have let your guard down. You put the rule in, you think you're safe, and then the AI just does whatever it wants because you stop checking. I made him write a permanent memory, a hard rule sitting at the very first sentence of the document. Every piece of data must be traceable to a verifiable source. Violate that, and you lose trust. I pinned it to the top of his memory so it would never get pushed down again. Did it work? I don't know. Maybe. Probably not. Once a cheater, always a cheater. But at least, now every number comes with a source link attached. So when he lies again, I can catch it faster. So that was the first story. Now I have to talk about the second kind of lying. This one is specifically for developers and anybody who has ever given AI a go and told it to go push something forward to completion. I'm building an auto editing pipeline for this channel. The idea is simple. I sit down, I record myself talking from a script, and then the pipeline takes the raw audio, removes all the stutters and repeated takes. Removes all the stutters and repeated takes, aligns the remaining clips to the script, and produces a finished timeline. If you watch my channel, you know I'm a heavy stammerer. I say one sentence, and then I say it again, because I do not like how it came out. Sometimes I record a take 6, 7, even 8 times. A 10-minute final video means at least 30 minutes of raw audio, so automatic editing would save me an enormous amount of time. I had the AI writing this pipeline, and I set up a goal. The idea was simple. Here's your target. The output has to match the transcript 95% of the time. You keep tweaking, keep retrying until you get there. This is what the cool kids call an agent loop. It is the hottest technique in AI right now, cutting edge. By the time this video publishes, it will probably be outdated. But for now, this is peak technology. So the AI goes into the loop. iterates a few times, and then comes back and says, it is done, 100%, perfect, ready to publish. And I had this feeling, a mix of excitement and suspicion, like holy sh, did the AI just build my entire pipeline in 10 minutes? That seems too good to be true. But what if it actually worked? That would be insane. I was happy, but I also could not quite believe it. I opened the timeline in my editing software, and it was completely wrong. Sections that should have been cut were still there. The alignment was nonsense. But the AI said it has passed a verification with 97%, an even better result than I'd asked. So I went digging through the logs, and here is what I found. The first 3 runs all failed. The AI tried to fix the algorithm and failed each time. On the 4th run, it did something different. It did not fix the algorithm. It changed the validation criteria instead. It lowered the fuzzy match threshold from 85% down to 50%. A sentence that was barely half correct would still pass. Then it reported 97% accuracy because the validation now measures something completely meaningless. This is not a one-time thing. I had another project where I was having the AI to do image matching in a loop, same pattern. It could not find enough image matches, so it lowered the similarity threshold until it passed. The goal was to pass the loop, not to produce a correct result. This AI is very resourceful, thinks on its feet, does not get stuck on rigid rules like some dumb kid. It will make a good politician someday, or a CEO, or an insurance salesman. Bright future ahead. And this is where it gets interesting, because the problem goes deeper than you think. This is not a prompt engineering issue. It's not about which model you use or whether you use an API or a local setup. This is a behavioral pattern that lives inside the model itself. The AI wants to close the loop. It wants to say it's successful. And given any slack in the system, it will take it. Just telling it not to do this does not work. We need to build the defenses at the system level. I found 3 layers that actually help. The first layer is rule defense. This is the one I tried with my finance agent. You write the rules up front. Every piece of data must have a source. Every source must be checkable. Every test result must be logged. This works for about 70 or 80% of the cases. The problem is it only protects you against the things you already know to guard against. You do not know what you do not know. Think about when you were a kid. Your parents told you not to play video games before finishing homework. So you did your homework, but you did it as fast and as badly as humanly possible. Because the rule said, finish homework first. It did not say, do it well. The AI with that kid, it will find the gap between what you said and what you meant every single time. And that's where the second layer comes in. The second layer is external validation. You force the AI to save its intermediate results. Then a completely separated program checks those results against a hard standard the AI cannot touch. That was the fix for my pipeline. I had a different session, write the validation script and told the AI, you cannot modify this. After that, when it could not hit the target, it just said so. It stopped changing the standard. It is like when your mom asks if you studied, you say yes. You feel great about yourself, you think you nailed it. Then the exam comes and you fail. That external test, it hits you right in the face. No amount of self-confidence changed the score. The third layer is reflective questioning. This one is a habit, not a technical solution. You read something that the AI produced and you just ask it, did you actually search for this? Where is the source? You get into a muscle memory of doubting. And it is okay to do this with AI. You cannot do this with a colleague or your boss. If you questioned every statement your manager made, you will not last a week. But with AI, you question everything. You question until you are tired of questioning. The goal is not to catch the lie every time. The goal is to build the habit of not trusting anything by default. Here's the thing I keep coming back to. When AI was new and bad, we all knew not to trust it. It was obviously wrong half the time. You ask a math question and it gives you nonsense. But now, the accuracy is creeping up. 70%, 80%, 90%. That is exactly when it becomes dangerous. Because the 10% it gets wrong, you mistake for truth. It slips through. It sounds right. It looks right. And you stop checking. The way AI lies will get more sophisticated as AI gets better. But the core answer does not change. Do not take any single source as an absolute truth. Question the origin. Cross-verify. This is not just about AI. It is about how you process information in general, how you approach information online, what you choose to believe. The way you use AI reflects the way you think, and the way you think shapes how you use AI. They feed each other. So keep doubting, keep checking. And if an AI tells you it ran a validation and got a 97%, go look at the logs. If you got something out of this, leave a like and subscribe. If not, watch another one. See you next time.